Mr. Prime Minister, honored to be here, sir. We were supposed to be here a month ago, but obviously you had some problems with Iran, which yesterday you had mentioned that you're interested in the Iranian people overthrowing this regime potentially. That could be a huge change in the region if that takes place, sir.
Yeah, but it has to come from the people. Right. It wasn't one of our war aims, but it could be one of its results, because I think that the picture that they had of this overpowering, bullying force, that fanatical regime that can sweep everything in its way, I think that's been cracked by our action, by the fact that President Trump made this bold decision to join us. I think it just cracked this veneer of invincibility. Mm-hmm. And that applies not only to the region and to the prospects of destroying completely the Iranian axis, the terror axis, and opening the path for peace, but also inside Iran itself. Because the Iranian people yearn for freedom. They yearn to be free from almost half a century of this terror tyranny. And that could very well happen, but it's really up to the people themselves.
Well, I think in America, a lot of people don't know the threat of Iran. You're geographically much closer, but in Iraq, I had an Iranian built and sold and paid for and provided for explosive kill 3 of my friends right next to me. So, how do we educate people about how bad Iran is and how much influence they actually have in the region beyond their own borders?
Well, just look at what they say and look at what they do. What they say is death to America, death to Israel, but death to Israel because Israel stands on their way to conquering the Middle East and going after America, or building ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles tipped with nuclear weapons that could reach the United States. So for them, their goal is America. Mm-hmm. They tried twice to assassinate the President of the United States, Donald Trump. They killed, as you said, your colleagues and wounded and killed thousands of Americans with their IEDs in Iraq, Afghanistan. They bombed American embassies. They murdered 251 Marines in Beirut. Mm-hmm. This is a force of fanaticism that is aimed to destroy our common civilization.
Do you think if Iran had a nuclear weapon, they'd use it on Israel immediately?
They say they would. And one thing we've learned in Jewish history, if somebody says they're out to annihilate you, the way Hitler did, well, believe them.
Fair enough. Putin, obviously 30 years in your position, you've had to deal with Putin before, and obviously partners and trade and things like that he deals with. Trump is set to meet him in Alaska. Do you think that Trump can, obviously you know President Trump very well, do you think that they can work something out to get some peace in Ukraine, and do you think Putin's going to play ball with that?
Look, if anyone could do it, it's President Trump. I nominated him for the Nobel Prize because, with his leadership and our partnership, we did the Abraham Accords, which brought, after a quarter of a century of no peace treaties, we brought 4 peace treaties between Israel and Arab states in 6 weeks. And he showed that what his leadership can do. He's just done it with Azerbaijan and Armenia. And so if anyone can do it, I think President Trump can do it.
Yeah. I want to get to some domestic issues for you. I've spent now almost a week here, talked to a lot of people, been to a lot of places. And it's one of the reoccurring questions is people, after October 7th, Israel is known worldwide for its intelligence capabilities. You guys are phenomenal at your intelligence. But October 7th got by. How did that happen? And, how do you reassure people that you're ahead of the next one?
Well, I think there were clear failures there of intelligence, operational mistakes, and others, and we'll have to examine all of them without exception. So that's not the problem. The problem you have is not that you can't fail. It's what you do when when you're hit, you rise up.
Yeah.
And what happened after this incredible massacre, the worst massacre of Jews since the Holocaust? That's what Hamas, an Iranian proxy, did on behalf of Iran. I mean, they murdered people, they beheaded men, they raped women and then killed them. They burnt babies alive. They took over 250 hostages, grandmothers and their grandchildren, real monsters. And after you're hit like that, to see the people rise up, I quoted words from the Bible when I described our war with Iran. I called it the Rising Lion Operation, because in the Bible, it says that the Jewish people, the Israelites, rose like lions. That's exactly what happened. And the fact that we did so after such a horrendous surprise attack and then within 20 months, crippled the Iranian Axis regime, attacked Iran. We controlled the skies over Tehran, and we obliterated, with American help, their missile, or rather their nuclear facilities. We obliterated a lot of their ballistic missile production sites. We took out in the first 2 minutes of the war their top nuclear scientists and their top military commanders. I think it shows the capacities that we have, not only for surprise and technology and innovation, but the spirit of the people, of the Jewish people, who refuse to succumb to the horrors of history. That's been our whole history, resurrecting our national life in our ancient homeland here, the land of Israel, and warding off these, enemies that seem to be more powerful than us. But the power of the spirit, the courage of our soldiers is amazing.
Yeah, and I've gotten to meet some of them along the way here. And those capabilities, there's no doubt. I was down on the Egypt and Gaza border where I could hear the F-16s and the artillery going off. You physically have the capabilities to wipe Hamas and the Gaza Strip, as civilized as your military is, off the map right now. Why haven't you done that, though?
Well, because we do not. We can bomb them like the Allies bombed Dresden. I mean, we could starve them if we followed the vilifications, these false lies delivered against Israel, and then nobody would be alive already 2 years later. I mean, they'll all be dead, but they're not, because we actually follow a simple rule. We try to move the population, separate the population, and go only after the terrorists. So you would appreciate this as a veteran. We do things that most armies don't do. We text message the civilians with millions of text messages and phone calls telling them, move out because we're coming in. Hamas shoots them to prevent them from leaving
and blame you.
And blame us, yeah. Same thing, they interdict the aid supplies and then they accuse us. Israel gives the aid, Hamas steals the aid. And then there's deprivation, Israel is blamed. But we still follow those rules. It's costly because we lose very brave soldiers.
Yeah.
But we still do it, and there's a job to be finished. We began this war. The second day of the war, I said, it's not just a battle against Hamas. It's a battle against Iran and its terror proxies. And we'll take them out one by one, and we'll deal with Iran too. So that took us a while, but now we have to complete the job.
So one of the things too is...
destroy Hamas.
Correct. You guys, Israel actually supplies power, utilities, water, obviously tons of aid to Gaza. I saw the trucks going in myself. You provide internet still to the Gaza Strip. Why not just cut it off and let them fend for themselves? Eventually people are going to have to come out.
Well, we've supplied, as you said, 2 million tons of aid. So much for, since the beginning of the war, 2 million tons of aid. That's about a ton for every per capita. But we're going to complete this job by finishing the 2 strongholds that are left in Gaza. That's Gaza City and what are called the central camps. They're on the beach.
You provide the utilities, the water and things. Wouldn't it be easy to cut it off and starve them out?
If we get the civilians out, you're right. And that's basically what our goal is, to get the civilians out of harm's way, as we've done up to now. But remember, there was another problem that we had. We had hostages. We had 255 hostages. At the beginning of the war, somebody, a very senior staff military commander, said to me and to our cabinet, you got to get used to the idea that you're not going to get even one live hostage out. And I said, no, I disagree with that. And by combined military pressure and diplomatic pressure, we got 205 out, of which 148 are alive. So we still have 50 hostages to go, 20 live, 20 dead ones. We want to get all of them. That takes time, but I think we're at the end game now.
I want to get to a couple more things, but real quick, what's the end result in a perfect world for Gaza?
We're fighting to free Gaza from Hamas tyranny. There are Gazans now who are fighting alongside us against Hamas, and they say, free us from this horrible terror dictatorship. And that's the end game. The end game is to get Hamas to lay down its arms, to have Gaza demilitarized, which means you can't smuggle in arms, you can't manufacture arms. Third, to have overriding Israeli security control, get all the hostages out, and then have some transitional authority, some peaceful governance that is not dominated by people who support terror, educate their children for terror, or launch terror.
Fair enough.
And that's where we're going to go.
What a lot of people don't know is Christians in the area persecuted in mass.
Right.
We're seeing this in Syria right now with ISIS taking over.
Right. Well, throughout the Middle East, Israel is the only place that protects Christians, that embraces Christians. We just had 350 Christmas trees delivered to Jerusalem. We take care of the holy sites, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Israel is the only power that guarantees religious freedom and unfettered access to holy sites. Mm-hmm. And the Christians are our partners. It's part of our Judeo-Christian heritage, which the fundamentalists want to destroy. They want to subjugate the Arabs, who are not part of their creed, mm-hmm. and they want to destroy all the non-Muslims, which means Jews, Christians, right. Many other denominations. And Israel is really the force that is protecting them, as we just did in Syria, protecting against these Islamist fanatics from massacring the Druze, a non-Muslim minority there. They were going to be decimated. Right. And they suffered the same horrors that we suffered, the beheadings, the rape of nurses, and their murder in hospital.
Hundreds a day.
Things. Horrible. So I acted. I had a call from the head of the Druze community in Israel, and he said, in the Holocaust, Jews, as they were being slaughtered, cried out for help, and nobody came. And that got to me. And I said, we're not going to let our Christian, or rather our Druze friends, go down like that, and such savagery. So we took action, and helped stop it. But that's the faith of Israel. Israel is a country that cherishes human freedom, mm-hmm. the right of every individual for life and liberty. And we're much maligned. I mean, this is the whole vilification that is coming against Israel is amazing.
I mean, Mr. Prime Minister, with all this going on, this must be really hard on you and your family. How do you manage all of that?
Well, I manage it because I know I'm fighting for a greater cause, as does my wife and my two boys, who have been subject to a lot of political campaigns and smears, and their courage is amazing. I talk about the Rising Lion operation. My wife is like the lioness of Judah. She gives me a lot of strength, as does the legacy of my father, who was a great historian of the Jewish people. Mm-hmm. But he always told me that as we're fighting for ourselves, we're fighting for free civilization against barbarism. And I think this war is what this is about. It's a seven-front war, but it's really a one-front war. A war between civilization and the barbarians who want to take us back to the early Middle Ages and religious wars that we can't tolerate, and nobody should. And I think Americans, by and large, understand it, but there's a lot of vilification in America, too. And when President Trump decided to take this forceful action, mm-hmm. sending the B-2s, which I thought was magnificent, people on the right, they said, oh, you're going to go into World War III. Israel is trying to drag it into war. And the answer is no. We're trying to prevent a nuclear war. And it turned out to be a precision operation. You didn't have American soldiers coming in, boots on the ground for regime change, which I told you, if it happens, it'll happen from inside. I mean, all sorts of, I like to think this is based on ignorance. Yeah. I hope not malevolence. But Israel is the best ally that the United States has. And I have to thank President Trump, first, for being so clear-minded about it, never losing his compass in his direction. Right. And this partnership is tremendous. Israel is the best ally that America has. It's your one fighting ally that doesn't ask for American forces on the ground to fight. And beyond that, America is our greatest ally. And under President Trump, it's been an incredible partnership.
Yeah, well, I couldn't agree more, Mr. Prime Minister. We appreciate your time today, sir.